Peace.
Peace, everybody.
Peace, family.
Barred by the blade. See, you ain't know about that intro right there, right?
That joke was hot, man. That joke was hot. That was hot, son.
Yeah. Sister Kendra did that, man.
Hey, Sister Kendra,
yeah. She did that. But man, we back from last week. It was on and popping up in here, but we had all men. Well, before we go, let's just introduce who we got here on in the show with us right now on the floor. So, you wanted to say something before we get started? Before we
we got a beautiful show, man. We got an awesome lineup of people, man, who have high character, man. I just want to go ahead and get this flow started, and you know what I mean. Let's see who we got. Starting with Brother Andwele.
Peace, Andwele Rod, the God Barber.
God Barber in the building.
Indeed.
And next,
Sister Kendra. Well, let me just say, Sister Kendra. I'll say something, and then they'll finish it off, and you can finish it off too. Sister Kendra, hold up. Before we do that, let me go back to Andwele again, because I don't think I told people before. We say bonded by the blade, so we got 3 barbers in here, and we bringing the barbershop floor here to social media. Like, man, these guys worked together for years, so we didn't have some of the craziest conversations. Some of the, almost getting ready to fight. We laugh, we joke, we crack. The barbering floor is something else, you know what I mean? But I just say about Andwele Ram that this brother, the blade is so crazy, because this brother back in the 7th grade, he cut my hair in the 7th grade. We went to Hearn. Look, we come from Hearn Run. Run, you know what I mean? Like, that was if you went to Hearn Run, you born, you bred for these streets out here. You feel what I'm saying? That was
hurry and run.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But we was there, and this brother in the 7th grade cut a Mickey Mouse in the back of my head.
Wow.
Back then. He was already cutting hair back then. And that's when I started cutting hair, like in the 7th grade, when I would start messing with myself. And I cut my own hair, probably from the 8th grade all through high school. And all. So I just wanted to say that, but we bring the barbering floor here to y'all. So Sister Kendra, she's doing some work with Reality Speaks, and she's helping with our promotional team and different things. But she heard the show last week, and she like, man, she got something to say. You know what I'm saying? So Sister Kendra, the Joy Factor, go ahead and introduce yourself and say a little more.
Sure. Okay. My name is Kendra Bell Sproul, and I'm known as the Joy Factor Mama. And I am a coach where I support women in finding more joy and more healthy and spiritual life. And I also coach couples alongside my husband, Symbia Kyle, who was on your show last week. So I'm really looking forward to giving a balanced perspective on Kevin Samuels tonight.
So was that you? Was you pinching him in the background when he was talking?
No.
No.
My husband was elevated.
I saw Cindy in the ER the next day with a whole bunch of broken ribs. I don't know.
No.
You want to introduce Brother Kamal?
Brother Kamal, a longtime mentor of mine, man. We go way back, man, from the rituals, the sun rituals, the solstice, a lot of spiritual things we was doing in the community. Temple of the Black Messiah. You know, this brother is a giant. You know what I mean? He was at my wedding in Jamaica. You know what I mean? He helped do part of the ceremony. You know what I mean? And we still together. We hanging in there, champ. You know what I mean? So I really respect that brother. I brought my first truck from this brother, man. My first truck. Y'all know I love trucks, but my first truck was brought from Brother Kamal, and he let me go on a payment plan. That's what I'm talking about, man. I gave him a couple $2 down. And he let me go on the payment plan. He worked with me, man. So I appreciate you, man. On this journey, you're a big part of, you know what I mean, Reality Speaks, Brother Andwele, Brother Jabari, and what we do, man. And we value your opinion, man. We're glad to have you this evening.
Hey, brothers and sisters, it is a pleasure to be here. Reality Speaks. I was just watching the first video that you guys did, I don't know, a long time ago, 26 years ago.
1996.
Everything, Jabari, that y'all said in the opening of that video before Tyrone Power spoke has come to fruition. So I'm elated to be affiliated with you guys. I know you guys have the Sons of Nat as one of your offsprings, but you all the sons of the African World Study Group all together, which I definitely am just so pleased to have been a part of you guys' matriculation into leadership and everything like that. Especially, and Jabari, you and I go back even further. We mentioned that the African World Study Group and so forth, but since we getting personal with it, Jabari's sister was actually my prom date. Years even before that. That was like 6 years before we started working together that way. So I've always been affiliated with your family since I was 16, 17 years old. So I'm glad to still be a part of the family.
Definite.
Hey,
Definite.
thank you, Bob. Hey, and we got a special sister in here, and this is my personal client from the barbershop. And this is Dr. Hey, she stay fly. She stay getting nice compliments on her haircut.
Nice cut, man. Nice cut.
She's such a wonderful spirit in general, such a change maker in the city of Baltimore at the Micah Institute, man, doing her thing. And every time I meet somebody who knows this sister, man, they speak highly of her. And I see why, because I get a chance to have an intimate relationship with her in the chair. And I value that. And she means a lot to me. You know what I mean? She means a lot to this community, and she means a lot to what this conversation is about as well. So, Dr. Lachey, we welcome you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your intellectual property, man. She's beautiful. She's a giant, man. And just tell them a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, good day. It is a pleasure to be here amongst giants in the space. So, you know, I'm a humble country girl from the deep South, Georgia, North Florida. At least that's what I like to believe. And in general, I've studied sexuality and sensual energy for the better part of 20 years. And even my stance on what I thought I was doing when I first began the work has evolved, in part because of my obedience to the actual study of what does it mean to be a creative, sensual being, right? Masculine, feminine, whatever. And yet I'm clear that there are some imbalances in the way that masculine and feminine energy come together in that creative, sensual power. So, so for that, I have been blessed to be able to teach and teach some more. I think teaching is my art form, the place where I like to be. So the brothers on the call are mostly barbers. I get to be a teacher and a professor in a lot of ways. As the good brother Sundiata said, I do work at Micah. I'm the interim associate dean in graduate studies. So I get to do a lot, mostly with the curriculum and how our students learn. What does it mean, you know, to be an artist scholar? What does it mean to take what the people are going through in an art form and bring them together? Again, like sensual energy. So I'm grateful to be here and grateful to be part of the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you for joining us.
For those that's joining us through YouTube, please get the likes up. You know what I mean? Like it, comment on the post, comment, and actually subscribe to the page. You know what I mean? That's how we're gonna grow. That's how we're gonna get this thing popping. You know, when we come, we bringing everything. We bringing the community, we bringing the barbershop to the floor, but we bringing them scholars with y'all. You know what I mean? Right. Y'all know we done brought everybody. We done brought Francis Cresswell, and we done brought Dick Gregory. We done brought Claude Anderson, Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Boyce Watkins, to Dick Sister Gregory. Soldier, you know what I'm saying? Like Dr. Layla Africa. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Dr. Tony Browder. You know, like we bring and we still bringing y'all these heavy hitters. We still doing events. We still gonna be doing events. We're gonna be bringing them onto this platform through our Patreon page. You can go on there and join that. We're gonna be putting up lectures. A lot of them that got copyright issues that can't go on YouTube. We're gonna put up, like Brother Kamal was talking about, our very first lecture, 1996, 26 years ago, and on there. And I'm like. You know, 17 years on that joint. If you go back and look at that right there, you know, so we gonna continue, like he said, Brother Kamal said, what everything that we said, we did. We said we was gonna blow. We said we was gonna blow the city up with information, and we actually blew. You know, what I mean, our stuff is all around the world. You know what I mean, and you know, we always say how the Africans feel. People say the spirit is strong, definitely strong. And I was telling the brothers the other day. There's a brother Born Knowledge, brother Born Knowledge, and he's a friend on my page, Allah, and he said that when they was in Afghanistan, you know, they would wake up in the morning, they would be in there with their crew, and the brothers would wake up in the morning, and they said, you know what I mean, when they get up, they were like, how the Africans feel? Spirit is strong, definitely strong in Afghanistan. I was like, what? All the way there? You know, he said, man, I don't know. He said, we got y'all tapes. We use y'all tapes for study groups and everything. So,
Wow.
you know, we have the Conscious Reflection Empowerment Initiative that's going on right now. Man, look, I know people watching and all. Man, $13.17. You see the Cash App going at the bottom of the screen. We're gonna do this. I'm telling you, like, we making history right here. We ain't just we gonna build another shop, Reflection Eternal and Conscious Heads coming together to make this happen, to build a third shop. Man, y'all make sure y'all give $13.17. Send that to the Cash App. $5 or $20 or $1,317. You know what I mean? You can do that also if you want to, but we appreciate y'all. But we want to make sure that y'all know what the movement is. We've always been a part of the movement. We always been doing it. So we want y'all to make sure that you're doing those things to support us. And we gonna bring you that information and knowledge. You know what I mean? Hopefully we got another 26 years to make, you know what I mean, to even take it to a higher level and take it somewhere else. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this topic right now. Now, last week, Sister Kenda, I would say, you heard some things on the show, and you some kind of way you was putting a message somewhere. I couldn't see it, and I wasn't able to put it up. I don't know if she thought I was ignoring the the message on the screen or whatever, right? But you know, what in general did you hear that kind of got under your skin that made you feel like you need some women on this panel? In general, so
okay, well, thank you for sharing. So part of it was I didn't hear a balance of accountability for either side. It didn't seem very balanced. It sounded like a vent session that wasn't really geared towards solution or healing.
oh, okay. All right. Well, okay. So let me just ask this question. Now, I'm watching some Kevin Samuels and, you know what I mean, different things. So one of the things he was on one of the podcasts and he was saying that, you know, a lot of times women have no problem and the people have a problem saying this about him. But he said, he quoted TLC, no, I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy who can't get no love from me, hanging on the passenger side of his best friend ride, trying to holler at me, you know what I'm saying? And basically saying what they don't want. And so what he is bringing in, you know what I mean, from the men perspective, you know what I'm saying, and actually clearing that whole thing up. So, I mean, that was one of the things that he quoted in general, you know what I'm saying? So, so what is it that people have a problem? And I guess I'm just asking this to, what is the biggest problem that you have with Kevin Samuels?
Oh, with him, I believe that the way that he delivers his coaching is really not constructive, in my opinion. And he has good points, but it's like he puts it on a trash can top.
So when you say good, so what's some of the good points that Kevin Samuels has that you tell me some of the good stuff?
Well, what I would say is good. Some of the good points would be about women being accountable for the management of themselves, and the idea that if you want a certain thing, then you should bring certain assets as well to match it. Now, in saying that, assets to me are not just in the financial. I think the greater asset is your spirituality and the way that you think and the modes that you are on for healing. Not saying that you're healed, because we all have our quote unquote baggage that we come with. But I don't hear anything about self-management and the maintenance as you're healing or as you're in a partnership. I don't hear that in what he gives to people.
Okay. So, Dr. Lachey, let's have you. I mean, we're letting the sisters go. You know what I mean? I want y'all to jump right in here because, like people said, we were so imbalanced last week. So we want to, you know what I mean, get it jumping. But Dr. Lachey, what do you have to say? What is your agreement or disagreement?
Well, I actually think I might be in that small group that you said of people who are somewhere in the middle, Jabari, right? Because I don't profess to have studied Kevin Samuels deeply, but I can see why what he says pushes some buttons in some people. Similarly, this might be a bad connection, but if we're gonna go there, let's go. Similar to the way that folks are all up in arms about Dave Chappelle's newest stand-up. I don't know that we can call it a stand-up, but it is. I think that the challenge is that Samuel does kind of get right to the essence of the truth, and in many ways, femininity has been taught to kind of like cow tip around a couple of things. We do it with our sister friends, we do it with our mamas. We appreciate those homegirls in our lives who tell it like it is. But even then, we're like, I think I only really want like a shot of you. I don't want to take like a bottle of you. And I think Samuel is just not someone that we can sit and sip. He is somebody that like you got to take it and you got to go back and sit with him for a little bit. So in that way, I can't say that I find him problematic or that I'm in love with what he has to say, right? I can see the places where he touches a button and I'm like, ooh, that's what we might call taboo. And it's supposed to be off limits, which to your point, Jabari, that's what he's saying, right? In that Vlad TV interview, where he's like, women get carte blanche to just tell men that they ain't nothing, they ain't come from nothing, they ain't gonna never be nothing. But the minute a man tells a woman that she's the same, now we have problems. And I think that is also unbalanced. I'm going to touch and agree with what Kenda had to say in that way. Like there's a lack of balance to be in our own communities, in our own relationships, to be able to say, brother, I see you, but you could be doing more. Sister, I see you, but you could probably be doing a little less, and that those truths just are allowed to exist in the space. So I'll say that if I may touch on what Kenda said about his delivery, I think that that's yet another thing. What I think about Black women when they are frustrated with Black men, they don't sound wholly different than the way that Kevin Samuels sounds, right? In the way in which they're like, okay, there's this terse lips and terse mouth, and I don't have time for you today. And why do we have to keep talking about this? And I think in some of the ways that he responds is because he's like, but sis, we've heard this before. So to Kenda's point, where's your accountability in what you're doing, right? Sis, you say you want this, but your receipts don't show it. Okay. And why do we have to talk so sweetly to adults if they're coming and asking for some real truth about their lives? Like shouldn't we not play with that and just get right to it? What is the need for sweetness and flowers and all of those things? And yet I might contradict myself before the end of this is over because I believe in talking sweetly. But I'm also, I'm clear that what he's doing is not wasting time. And I think we're used to wasting time. And so he becomes the face of the problematic because he doesn't waste time.
Right. Brother, do you want to add on? Right?
No, we can go right to Brother Kamal. He's sitting right there.
He waiting. Brother Kamal is waiting. He locked it loaded. Hey, he's representative of Kevin Samuels. Matter of fact, he's the older cousin of Kevin Samuels.
No, I represent no one but myself, my family. I wanted to go back to Kenda and talking about how he has good content, perhaps good ideas. However, those ideas are served up on a garbage can, a garbage lid. That's what she said. The one thing that oftentimes men aren't allowed is to have our own sacred space where we are allowed to be unapologetically men without changing our language to appease other people. We talk about how minorities and how Black folks and all other folks have to feel comfortable in their skin to be who they are and to express who they are naturally. So then there are places and spaces where men should be allowed to be men and not change our language to suit anyone. Just as like when we're at work and we're told to dress a certain way, wear our hair a certain way, and to kowtow to other people's expectations of us instead of naturally being who we are. So I would say there's a time and a place for kind language, and then there's a time and a place to keep it real, right? And so I think that's what Kevin Samuels' platform allows. It allows for him to keep it real. And essentially what he said that he does, and again, I like some of what he says, and I don't agree with some of what he says. I was talking with Jabari about that today. But what he does do is he speaks to women like men speak to each other. If Jabari came to me and said, "Hey man, I think I want to pull on some skinny jeans," I'd be like, "Bruh." Don't flat button them jeans down. You ain't gonna be like, same thing with me. I'll be like, "Jabari, I'm gonna do something crazy." He'd be like, "Man, get your big ass over there." He would come to me straight up like, "I'm man." And so that's what his platform is. It's raw, unadulterated man truth. Now, with that being said, I wanted to ask a question, and this is the phrase of toxic masculinity. And so I would like to ask the ladies, what is their definition, if they in fact believe in toxic masculinity, and what is it?
Oh, can I jump in first, Doctor?
Yeah, go ahead, right on, jump on right on.
Okay, because he addressed me first, and so what I heard is that are men allowed to vent? Are they allowed to express themselves freely without judgment? And that, am I right?
Yeah. Are there spaces where we can just talk plainly?
So I would agree that is something that men have been socialized to not be able to express their hurts and their pains or their anger, without them being seen as a danger, or the feminine will shrink as a result of that. And I would agree that is true. However, I would say that same thing could be said for women, because we are told that we are too emotional. When we are loud, we're seen as masculine. When we're crying uncontrollably, we're considered weak and silly girls. So yes, what you're saying is very true. But what I would like for you to consider is, if men are able to hold space for that without judgment on the woman, and him to be able to hold space without feeling fault and just being there in that moment. And when I say fault, for him not having to worry if he's going to be faulted or found guilty based on how her emotions are big. Because I know that men more than likely have to take on the feminine storm. Okay, you guys take on our storm probably 7 to 10. Okay, so I'm not saying that y'all don't do it, but when you say that is true, and I agree that men should be able to express themselves. But I'm asking you to lead the way by allowing us as women, when we vent and we get in our big energy emotionally too, that you don't judge us as well.
Okay. Dwelle Ra, the Godfather, the God Barber. What you got to add on, man?
In reference just to Kevin Samuels, like Baba Kamal said, man, some things I like that he said, and some things I don't. You know what I mean? It's like I don't feel like I can be 100% with nobody on anything. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's a balance in life, and just addressing what the sister said about women being too emotional, and we saying that women are weak and all those things. I just feel like women should be feminine to address that. And being feminine doesn't mean being weak. You know what I mean? I think a lot of women, when they say I'm a strong black woman, I'm a strong black woman, their term of strong black woman is getting loud and you can get up in a man's face and you can be disrespectful and I can do it myself and all that. And I think being feminine is very strong. You know what I mean? Because I'm not ready to have a baby. You know what I mean? And I know that takes strength. You know what I mean? To give birth to a child and bring a life into this world, and even to take care of a child and nurture. All those things take strength, and that's a feminine. I think that we are in a space and time in this country where nobody knows their place and nobody wants to be in their place. You know what I'm saying? Like, men have a place that we have to be in. Women have a place that they have to be in, and it's just the nature of life. You know what I mean? Birds don't swim. You know what I mean? Birds are not supposed to be in the water. They're not supposed to swim. Fish are not flying. Everybody has a place, and everybody has, you know what I mean, a role in life, in society. And I think that, you know, with Kevin Samuels, he just addresses these things. You know what I'm saying? And they said that there's no healing. You know what I mean? I see the healing in it, because they are women that call in and want to talk to him, and they want help, and they want understanding with what they have done wrong in their relationships and how they have hurt their relationships. And I feel like you can't tear down a wall with a cotton ball. You know what I mean? Like, you have to tear down a wall with a wrecking ball. And people want cotton all the time. They want it to be soft and sweet and gentle and say it like this and say it like that. No, you have to tell it like it is, man. And that's just how he do it. He tell it like it is in his way and how he feel fit. He's not letting nobody tell him how he should say it. Oh, well, he needs to be a little more light with it, or he got to be like this. And say it the way you feel it, and the way you want to express yourself. Like, we were talking about, just to get up top, about Lamar Jackson in the barbershop today, and the brother was saying, oh, Lamar Jackson needs to speak like this and he needs to talk like that. Like, no, let that brother be who he is. Yeah. People from New Orleans don't sound like people from Baltimore. That's people right. in Philly don't sound like people in Baltimore. People from we sound different. We have different dialects. We talk different. Our tones, our accents are different. So we have to allow people to be in their natural space and be who they are, without always trying to change somebody or put them in a box so that we can be comfortable. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a sweater. I don't want to be your comfortable sweater. So just because you want to be comfortable with me the way you want me to be. No, I want to be me. You know what I mean? And if I can't be that, then I'd rather, you know, find where you want to be.
I just wanted to add real quick that a feminine woman can have rage. Just so
I know.
Oh yeah.
I think we know that.
It's a fact. Yeah,
that's a fact.
That a feminine woman can have rage that is quiet as the wind and as strong as a hurricane.
That's right.
But I think
facts.
I think that, taking Kevin out of context, people just take those clips when he just say rate yourself from 1 to 10. But that context actually came from a woman. He kept asking questions to, like, okay, won't you be with your man? Why can't you be home with why can't you take this kind of man? Why, you know, why he not good enough for you or whatever? And they would drill him in. And then when she got to the point where she was like, no, I deserve more. He was like, what? That man loved you. So why don't you be with that guy? And then once it goes past that, then it's like, okay, since you think you all of that, rate yourself from 1 to 10, since you want to act like you all of that. And so that's where that context comes. But if you just look at when everybody put those clips up, you be like, man, who this man is? Who is he to judge this black woman like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is he to do that? And a lot of people just saw those clips like, nah, he a clown. But if you actually really, really went and you listen to a lot of his shows, even when he giving statistics about black relationships, he said like the relationship that what people are doing right now is not working. You know what I mean? And what about the women that call in there who say, Kevin, you saved my marriage? He got a lot of people that call in there and say, first, I didn't like you. I did not like you at first. And then when I actually listened to whole shows, I gained a like, and you know what I mean? And actually, you know what I mean, became a fan. You know what I mean? But he said that, I hear people call in and say, you saved my marriage. You know what I mean? Or I got married because of you, because I switched some things that I was doing and I was doing wrong, and I changed some things and I actually got married. So I mean, on the other end, you know, there's a lot of people that really are benefiting from some of the stuff that he's actually saying.
Yeah. And I would like to add on too that what happened to constructive criticism? You know what I mean, I'm a guy. I like blunt. Don't sugarcoat nothing for me in life. You know what I mean? Because like the world ain't gonna give me no sympathy as a black man, as a manager. There's no sympathy out here, and I'm not expecting it. So me, I like to face anything head on. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that approach, but we got to recognize that Kevin Samuels, he's coming from like our great grandparents' view, because he always compared women. He's like, compare yourself to your great grandmother. Are you doing half of the things in your relationship or your marriage as them? So he's kind of like an old timer as far as how he draw his comparisons, and I appreciate that as well for the traditional marriage and traditional relationship. You know what I mean? Perspective, and I think it worked. But we are all healers up here, you know. So because of this conversation and because of what he's done, he activated us to even talk about it. You know what I mean? To invite people into our space and to create healing and create that conversation, because everybody up here, you know what I mean, has a power to affect somebody as far as proper guidance and proper direction as far as relationships. I done got it from everyone up here at some point. And that's some of the things that we do in the barbershop. And I appreciate this because these are the conversations and these are the points that we hit. But constructive criticism is real. And I appreciate it because it's so blunt. And some people, you know, you brace for it. But I think a lot of these conversations were forbidden. But because of the internet and social media, we're taking advantage of it. And it's right in front of our face. So, you know, I just give thanks for that.
Yeah. And look, we're gonna be right on topic, because one of the things that I want everybody to know, that we believe in much the respect of the black woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, we believe in the respect of the black woman, the queen mother of the universe, definitely and foremost. And I'm saying that to say that I got something off of Ashley Simby's page that I just looked at. You know what I mean? And this was is this real? Not is this real news? Is that Meek Mills had a tour bus? Did y'all see that? Did y'all see what I'm
It's
talking
real.
about?
Yeah.
And look, because
fill that out for me, Jabari. He had a tour bus and what?
okay, let me see if I can somebody find a picture of that? Let me see if I can find.
He had a tour bus with black women all over the bus, bent over, like showing it like it was painting.
That was Quavo.
Painting.
That was Quavo.
That was Quavo's bus.
Yeah,
I think I saw Meek Mill's name on it.
Quavo.
No, it's like Meek Mill on there, I think.
No, I think it's the Migos.
Hold on, let me find a clip. We gonna find.
And the world is losing their mind because these women are on this.
Well, it's like they bent over. It's like in the neighborhood, and the children can see it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can see like the vagina. You can see, you know what I mean? And it's like, so this white man rolls up on the bus, and he going off like he a black person. You know, like no, and black woman, y'all gonna go for this? Look at this disrespect. Children out here, come on, y'all. All this bus is about money. Look at it, money on here. Women bent over all around the bus, and he was just going off. I can actually
it's Migos. It's Migos Quavo. Scrub the ground. It's called Scrub the Ground.
In some ways, I know there are multiple things happening right now. Baba Kamal asked us about toxic masculinity and if we believe in that. So I want to come back to them. But I'm also thinking about the masculine space. And I know Sundiata and I have had many conversations about this and about how I personally choose to move very easy when I move into the barbershop, because I recognize it as a purely masculine space. Mm-hmm. And so because I know the power of both femininity and masculinity, I know what happens when those energies come into place if they weren't prepared for one another. If somebody got something going on and we don't know how this energy is going to work. So I do honor what Baba Kamal had to say in terms of men really wanting, deserving, needing, all people needing and deserving a space where they can take off all of the strictures, right? Like take off all the things that are trying to make you be and fold into another kind of a space. And I'll say this in closing. I know you all have something to share with us. Jabari, your point about, folks not listening to like the whole clip of what Kevin Samuels has to say. In many ways, is that not what our world is? Our world truncates everything. Our world wants to shut everything down and make it real thin. And so you have so many disagreements between so many people because folks are not willing to say, I'm gonna sit still and I'm gonna listen to this for 22 minutes and listen to what's being said and listen to what's not being said, and then do some self-assessment, right? Like the multiple layers that we would have to engage to be in that work. So some of what I think has brought us all here today isn't even just Kevin Samuels, but it's the way we are and are not showing up in the world, to the point that Joy said, like, nobody knows what their role is, like what they're doing here. And so that can cause some, dis-ease in the body, you know what I mean? And cause folks to kind of move in ways that aren't becoming of who they really are. And yet we got a brother here who's saying, I'm being exactly who I am and y'all still crucifying me. So what we gonna do, I know y'all wanted to share something with us. I don't know if it's time for me to come back and touch Baba's question about toxic masculinity or not. Or
no, go ahead and jump. Go ahead and stay on with the toxic. I'll play that. I'll play that clip. But it was Meek Mills, though, Senior. I got the thing, though.
I'm in this moment trying to remember, Baba, why you asked us that. It felt like let's flip them this way, let's flip them that way. That could be wrong, that could be right. I don't know, but I am going to address it. In the sense, because I heard what you said at the end is, do we even believe in it? And I feel like that's actually your truer question than what we would define it as, is, do we believe that masculinity can be toxic? My answer is yes. The same way I feel like femininity can be toxic. And to me, the similarities between those two is anytime we give into those behaviors, those words, those actions that actually goes against our own spirit. And I believe that we feel that, right? I believe that men who hit their women feels a dis-ease in themselves when that's happening, right? They may call it power, they may call it anger, but what they're feeling is like a misalignment, I think that women, whenever they find themselves in positions where they're lying consistently about what their own desires are, they feel that. They feel it. To me, that is the toxicity of the whole thing, because then it causes us to, again, act outside of ourselves and begin to say and do and plot and scheme and all kinds of things that would not otherwise be us if we just said, you know what, I see what that's trying to make me do, but I'm actually not going to give in to that. So to me, the toxicity is the giving in to those things that don't make us, that don't let us see ourselves in our best light. So I'm not sure what Kendra would say to that, but that's my response, Baba.
Does somebody got two devices playing something at one time? Because I can hear like an echo. Somebody got like two devices playing at the same time.
I think because we're all unmuted, we're all getting some background. So I guess I'm a mute now if I'm not talking.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that sounds better.
I think that was me. I'm sorry. I was watching on my phone. I just cut it off. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. No, appreciate. But you want to answer to what she?
No, I think that she covered it perfectly. Toxic. Anything that is, excessive can be toxic, right? So if we talk about one, there's not one that is worse than the other, because basically a toxic woman and a toxic man can destroy a whole nation. So either way, it's not good. So I believe that it does exist. I have not personally experienced a lot of the different things that have been shared as examples of that, but I have, to a certain degree, dealt with toxic femininity.
Okay.
So if I could just take one liberty.
Okay.
So, Dr. Lachey, you've defined it as almost like a sin. Like anything, a sin is something that you do that diminishes yourself, that you carry guilt for, and so forth. But typically, I've heard, and I think the brothers have probably as well, when women talk about things that are typical man behaviors, they call it toxic masculinity. Now, I'm not saying that that's the way anyone on this panel takes that, but I think that's what I was referring to, how you hear people talk about when a man is being what is traditionally thought of as being a man, that it's often referred to as being toxic. And so, but it seems like you guys, of course, are enlightened and don't carry that same belief system. So Thank you.
Well, to your point, you know, every generation backs up what they define a man is supposed to be. So you young brothers who grew up, I'm sure, with them cat daddies in the 70s, right? Like they wore tight pants, they had long hair, they wore high heels. You couldn't catch these men wearing those things right now without, you know, having something to say like, you know, I don't know, call them Little Nas X. I don't know. So the way that masculinity evolves, femininity is trying to figure it out. Similarly, the way that femininity evolves, masculinity is trying to figure it out. So even when you say what is thought to be seen as a typical man, in which generation, in which decade, listening to what music, talking about what politics, because all of those things are going to change. Do I believe that there are some inherent, domains that make femininity what it is across time and culture, make masculinity what it is across time and culture? Surely. But I think some of the things that most folks are referring to when they talk about toxic masculinity, over talking women, whatever you want to call it, right, is all a response to also what's happening in the world currently, where we are or where we've come from, or we don't know where we've come from. So again, do I think that there's some ways that we all move that are subtle, that are problematic? Absolutely. And we hold it under the banner of, but that's who I am. You know, that's me. You know, that's who I've always been. It doesn't mean that's who you have to always be, though. You know, so I yes, and all of that.
Yeah.
Yes, and all of that.
Let me say this. Like Kevin was saying that when he started off, for years, he started off talking to men. You know what I mean? Talking about men. You know what I'm saying? Men only for a very long time. 3 years, three years and plus 3.5 years, I think. And he said nobody cared. You know what I mean? Nobody cared what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until he actually started to, you know what I mean, study and start to see exactly what was going on. He also said that even when he started, so he had to learn this whole formula, because he said when he started off, he would be so serious on the air. He would be so serious. He didn't laugh. He didn't joke. It was real stiff. And he was talking to a guy one day, and the guy said, well, man, he said, your show kind of dry. I'm gonna be honest with you. He said, but we sitting here talking, and every time you're around people, everybody's laughing and joking, like you have people cracking up. He said, I think you need to add some humor to your show. You know what I mean? So when you when people get that humor from Kevin, and he doing certain things, you know what I mean? Like it's him adding that humor to the whole thing. That's that shock and awe that he's actually adding in, and a lot of people actually get offended from it. But you know, again, the stuff that we need to be offended about, as you started even talking about the Dave Chappelle, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and with the baby, you know, like his point, you know, he killed somebody before, you know what I'm saying? That's not what they was in uproar about. It was just what he said about, you know what I mean, about certain people, you know what I'm saying? And it's like the stuff that they've been saying in hip hop music. And back to this Meek Mill bus that we've been talking. I mean, it might be his bus too. They might, I'm sure.
Meek Mill's name is on it.
Disrespectful, but huh?
Meek Mill's name is on it.
Yeah,
his name is on the bus.
Let me play that clip for y'all real quick. Let me just play it. Y'all gotta bear with me because I'm just learning how to do some of this stuff. Hold on 1 second.
In the meantime, I think I'd like to ask Baba Kamal, do you believe in toxic masculinity?
Yeah, I think, I mean, if you're talking about physical abuse, any type of verbal abuse, stuff like that, definitely. But here comes the video.
All right, video.
Stop right now and let me ask you this. How is it possible that Elon Musk can manage over 100?
All right.
Look at this fucking bus. Look at this bus that goes by in my neighborhood. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? What is this? This is on the side of a bus rolling through your street. Rolling on the side of your street. Is this what you want, black women? Is this what you want, black women? Is this what you want? Look at this bull fucking shit. Look at this shit on the side of a bus. Is this what you want, black women? Is this what you want? Is this how you want to be respected? Is this how you want to be respected in life?
It's not up on the screen anymore, Jabbar.
It's not on the screen?
No.
1 second.
This is disgusting. This is satanic bullshit. I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of. Look at this shit that you're getting on.
So it went off the screen.
Yeah,
All right.
but I think we saw enough and heard
Okay.
enough.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, yeah, because Meek Mill's, you know, what I mean, you know, got some great words. I mean, that he been saying and some great things that he been doing. But I don't know what marketing, you know, campaign or whatever went on. But I'm like, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. You know what I mean? But you know, and this and you know, so that blatant disrespect of our women, you know what I'm saying? That's like the stuff that he did. That's on some like some old white folk stuff. You know what I mean? I bet some white folks was behind, you know, the artwork and all the stuff that's there.
Hey, let me say this. That's toxic masculinity.
Right.
That's what toxic masculinity is. And if those images weren't real, nobody could paint them images. This is what is on social media. You constantly see pictures of women like this. Porn, soft porn. That's what I call it. It's on social media. Now, did he have to put it on a bus, like the guy said, to show the world for little girls that's going to walk past or right when that bus is riding and little girls seeing this bus? No. I think toxic masculinity is a misperception, a false perception of what masculinity is. And I think it comes from hip hop. I'm definitely going to put it on hip hop. When hip hop was the conscience movement in hip hop was removed, and the image of, you know, black men just carrying guns, walking around with their pants hanging down, and you know, being in the streets, smoking blunts and drinking, and those are the images that became reality. You know, because you know we live out these images, we live out these videos. A lot of things that we see come from magazines, whether it's the way you dress, you know what I'm saying, the way you speak. These images are given to us, and we know who controls these images. So, I mean, you know, we can blame white people for a lot of stuff, a whole lot of things, but some things we project and we put out there ourselves. They don't even have to do it anymore. We don't need the white man no more to do anything. We are good at it. We have mastered the master.
Well, I
in
mean,
his wickedness.
As I was looking at some of Del Jones today from Reality Speaks, you know what I'm saying, and he called it the American nigger factory. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you know what I mean? That their system manufactures, you know what I'm saying? It creates niggas. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And you know, so I was just watching that today with Del Jones. So yeah, man. I mean,
Carter G. Woodson said you don't have to tell him to go to the back door. He'll create his own back door.
He create his own back door.
Yeah.
That's right. So
That's right.
So you know, we dealing with this stuff, and we dealing, like I said, it's all about healing at the end of the day. Now, one of the people that he references a lot, all the time, is Shahrazad Ali, Dr. Shahrazad Ali. So how does the panel feel about Dr. Shahrazad Ali?
I love it.
I love it too.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, Sister Kenda. Sister Kenda Bell Sproul.
I was a college student and I purchased her book. I was
Which one? How to Understand? Which one?
The Guide to the Black Woman, or the very first book, the yellow cover.
The Understanding of Black Woman.
Yes,
Yeah,
with
Black
the
Man.
whole
Okay.
open up
Black
the
Man.
palm of the hand. Yes, all of that. Yes, I got that book. And I will say that in terms of what she shared about being a traditional wife in a traditional way, with the exception to, of course, the physical like abuse, which I don't think anyone should go through, male or female, because men are also victims of domestic violence, and they are often unheard and laughed at, and their assaults oftentimes go unreported. So I just want to share that as I keep going. So that's where I had a problem, because a lot of women are not necessarily looking for a traditional husband in the terms that that book to me was talking about, in terms of being the housewife and dutiful. There's a lot of women, even in their 20s, that have their own homes homes, businesses, and lives. So I think that the foundation of certain things that she's talked about were good, but every woman is different, as every man is different. And I don't think that a book can really tell you what is the proper way to love a Black woman or a Black man, because we are diverse from different backgrounds and experiences. But the foundation, I somewhat agree with.
Okay. Anybody else got anything to say about Dr. Shahrazad Ali?
I was just gonna say, I know that I was victim of doing the same thing to Dr. Shahrazad Ali that folks are doing to Kevin Samuels. Is I was always so transfixed on the clips, and I'd be like, oh, the clips just went crazy. Oh, I don't want any of this. And then you realize that they've been taken out of context, right? And so the context, when context is provided, it paints a very different picture. And I think exactly what Kenda said is where we have to have the conversation. For people who want to be in a traditional marriage with what we call traditional roles, may you find the person who wants to also be traditional with you, and y'all can do it together. And yet, some of her ideas, I realize I actually feel like, wow, I think we've turned a corner to where some of the things that she's offering women as a way to be, I don't even know that men would even know how to be with a woman that way, right? I think a big challenge is that when men say current men, contemporary men say that they want a woman like their great grandma, I'm like, well, let's talk about what you would have to be able to be in a relationship with a woman like that. And is that not also what Kevin Samuels is also saying? If you want these things, women, how are you showing up in a way to do it? And so the challenge I think that happens is, again, Dwelle, I think you said something so powerful tonight. I keep revisiting it, is knowing our role, but also knowing how our roles serve a contemporary society that we're in. And to say you can have traditional relationships where nobody really wants to be traditional, even the traditionalists want to be funky fresh, then we have to begin to question how much of what we say we want is a romanticization of something that just no longer exists. And that we can take some of the best of what existed there, but to put it in a contemporary space means that it has to evolve. Example I have, and I'll back in that way is, I'm over smartphones. I've had a cell phone since I was young. I won't date myself right now, but the fact is, I've had it for a very long time, and cell phones do not excite me. There's nothing new about them. I'm so disillusioned by what is supposed to be a smartphone that I'm like, I just want to go back to a flip phone. Matter of fact, give me a BlackBerry, right? It's because I'd rather regress and go back to a technology that actually feels innovative than what the people are selling me now. And I think it's the same with relationships. There are things that we are being sold as new and the newest thing and the hottest thing. And it's like, nah, but this is trash though. I think I'd rather go back 10, 15 years. Let's see. I would actually say 26. Let's go back to 96. All right, Jabari.
So I mean, let's be real. Let's be real clear. Like, and one of the things that Kevin talks about, like the black.
I can't hear.
Black community, you can't hear? Can y'all hear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
I do still hear the feedback. I do think
I can hear you for this feedback.
Mm-hmm. I do hear the feedback. We good now. Yep, we good. I think that the black, let's be real clear. The black community is in real trouble right now. When it comes to relationships, the relationships ain't happening. You know what I mean? Like you said, we go out, we listen to this music, we get our drink on, you know what I'm saying? Leave the club, couple weeks, these two people get together, and next thing you know, somebody's pregnant. You know what I mean? Somebody's pregnant, and then they realize after the pregnancy, oh, I can't stand you. I hate you. You know what I mean? And this is what's going on. And then we have the children that's coming up in our community that don't have the right to grow up with a man and woman in the same home, to come up with the male and female energy in the same home, that nuclear family that's going on. Now, Kevin talks a lot about, like I said, going back and looking at our great grandparents and what they did. So a lot of people got criticisms there, but let's go back and look at that so far as back in the day, and let's examine that. You know what I'm saying? What was more healthy, what our grandparents did or what we have going on? Because I know a lot of times they get accused of staying around too long, you know what I mean? And some of the men were abusive, you know what I mean, during those times. But when you see they held those families together, you know what I'm saying? And it seemed as though they were more willing to work things out. Whereas though, like now, you know what I mean, man and woman, and most of the time Kevin says that a lot of the time, most of the breakups and most of the divorces are filed by women. That he goes and that he points out that most of them are filed by women. So where do we go? I mean, is it the old school? Does that work for us? Does that hold the family together? Or we continue to go with what we got right now? Slam, bam, thank you, ma'am, baby. No father and mother in the house. They beef and fuss, and then they come out into the community, and the children hurt because the parents don't get along. And he say that a lot of women are not getting married. A lot of black women are not getting married. He gives statistics on that, but let's go into it.
No, yeah, I hear you, definitely. I agree that both parties, males and females, need to be more accountable, period. Not just with their bodies, but with their spirit and their heart. There's a lot of people that come into their young adulthood with childhood trauma, and they put them in the relationships, and then their children carry on those burdens. So we can talk about parenting and all of that, but that pain, that dysfunction probably began when they were children. So it's not a new phenomenon. And when we talk about our like older parents, our grandparents or great grands or whatever, yes, there were certain things, but you must understand that during that time, women couldn't even have their own bank accounts. Women were not able to have their own bank account until I think maybe the 60s without their father or a husband co-signing for that. They could not rent on their own. So we had a society at that time where in certain cases women stayed because they had no options. I'm not saying that they didn't love grandpa, but it was at times certain situations where they knew more often than not, the women were not educated or trained, so they couldn't take care of themselves. Some of them, not all of them. So them staying together is not always a romantic story. So we have to be very clear about that and to be balanced and fair. And the husbands as well, because of the stigma, I'm not finished, I'll give you a chance to come out, is that, you know, and the men as well had stresses for society with them staying with their family, that they didn't have 10 kids, but they're working at the factory off of one check, and they're a black man making the least amount. You know, so there was a lot of tension in the household that the parents, the great grands endured. So as we come into the modern time where women have more options to have their own bank accounts and property and work and companionship, why is it an issue that women have some of the same, but not all, access to things and they're seen as masculine? Are you saying that we should be covered by you financially, socially, in every way for us to be able to qualify to have your love?
Brother Kamal? You know, that was good.
Oh boy. And this is why it's so disheartening. Because being an amateur historian, understanding everything you just said in terms of where we came from, in terms of the prohibitions and restrictions placed on women, and also understanding the prohibitions and restrictions placed on Black men. So as my teacher, Ishaka Musa Barashanga, would say, I am not your enemy, right? We both have a history and a struggle to contend with, to overcome, in fact. And to now magically appear in 2021 and to try to reconcile all of the hurt and pain that was previously here is very difficult. And our mothers, grandmothers, yeah, they stayed with the men because they had to, right? Is the inverse of that saying now that, well, Black woman, because you don't need us anymore, fire burn you,
Of course not.
You know,
Emotional accountability.
hold on, you said that you were gonna let me speak.
Okay.
So it's like there's a study, and again, Kevin Samuels talks about it, is that they were surprised that Black women chose welfare over their man. So the whole dynamic we talk about in terms of men leaving the household for the welfare system had some onus on our mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers choosing the check over the man. And so, like I said last week, we're not just a penis and a purse, right? A man has intrinsically more value to that. And I think we've got to work it out, but I think we need each other. And just because the Black woman can leave her man, maybe she shouldn't. Just like, because I could be living anywhere in the country right now, I'm still in East Baltimore, right? I make 4 or 5 times the average wage of people down the street, but I'm still here because I'm trying to uplift my city and have something greater than my own personal desires, needs, and wants. So,
okay, I just
I
want
think Sunyata, you want to chime in?
Now let's Sister Kendra go, and I'll go in after her.
Okay.
Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say that, I'm not saying that because we have quote unquote more rights or access that we should not want husbands or that we should not treat them properly. What I'm really saying is that sometimes the women dealt with certain things because there was no emotional accountability for the masculine or the feminine. But at that particular time, the masculine, because he was underneath a lot of stress and she needed him. Not saying that every older man abused their spouse or their children, but as you said, we both carried a lot of emotional weight through centuries and decades together. So when I say that the women have more access, it's like, okay, so we actually want more than your money. We want emotional accountability and emotional support more so than anything else. If you emotionally support and are present with a woman in an emotional way consistently, you'll 9 times out of 10 get whatever you want. And that's, to me, the healing factor. And the woman as well now gives that back to her man, because if the woman can feel that she can trust him, then he is vulnerable with her. So there's that unification of trust and vulnerability. But it has to be a place where we stop saying, well, I went through this, you went through that, so, oh, well, my grandfather did that, but I didn't do that. It's like, we both hurt. So how are we going to learn to trust one another? And I know we can't solve it in one thing, but I want you to not worry about the money and stuff, because whether women have money or not, the number one thing that the women that I coach want is someone that is emotionally available for them. They would quit their job or pay his bills, whichever variation. Okay. That's why the women are so angry.
Right. All right, Brother Sunyata, you want to add on?
Yeah, I was gonna I appreciate everything that everybody's saying, by the way. You know what I mean? Sitting down taking notes, and I'm learning a lot. But family is the cornerstone of all civilization, you know. And any society that we study, we see that strong families strong customs, you know what I mean, strong culture, you know what I mean. It usually bring out a lot of richness, you know what I mean, because you know what I mean, a lot of jewels are handed down. There's protocol. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm a big champion of that. Relationships nowadays should be customized, you know what I mean, for those individuals, you know what I mean. So I'm not really hung up on you know what I mean, the old ways of our great grandparents. I know they have to evolve, you know. Now I know the relationships have to evolve now based on the people and the personnel that's involved in that, you know. But one thing I want to point out, one thing I've been seeing, just talking to different clients in the barbershop and things of that nature, is that, you know, the guys who are married and if their wives are like educated and highly educated, those guys be having like a lot of problem with their wives on this independent thing, you know. And I want to know, is the educated woman helping or hurting the family structure?
All right, soon. You went ahead. All right, now. Slam
hold up, because the options become wider for you. Like Sister Kenda said back in the day, the options were limited. The options become wider, and you have more leverage. And you know what I mean. You could tell a man, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna be independent. I'm gonna go out with my, you know what I mean, my single girlfriends and do the brunch and, you know what I mean, do all that kind of stuff.
That's a good question. That's a good question he asked, because I'm sorry to let you go, but one of the backdrops, one of the popular backdrops of Kevin Samuels that he always plays when he presses the button is what? I'm a PhD.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He always plays that, you know what I mean? Like that's what women, you know.
I actually know that woman. We used to talk.
Oh, you for real?
Oh my, yeah. Anyway.
So I'm gonna meander through some of this. So I actually would like y'all to involve me in a conversation, okay? Because the show could stop right now. I could just keep on talking, but I do want to say something. One of the guests watching, Brother Ricardo, he had said something about women are educated now, so what's the problem? And I couldn't remember what he was saying that for. So Sundiata, thank you for kind of bringing us back around to that space. So Brother Ricardo, if you still with us, can you give us a little more?
Well, don't make me bring him in here. Don't make me bring
him. Well, there was something like, I wanted him to expand more about what he was saying about Black women are not educated. So what's the problem? But to your point, all right now, Brother Sundiata, I was like, I knew we were gonna get here, and here we are. So let's do a couple of things. Let's level set around education, because as we've got amateur historians on the line, myself included, let's be clear that there are many different types of intelligences, many different ways that we know. And we've known as a Black people, we've been smart before there was a formal institution to give us a degree to tell us that we were smart. Okay, so let's start there. One. Two, let's fast forward, I don't know, a millennia or so, and acknowledge that Black women are now some of the most highly educated people on paper than anybody, right? But let's also parse out why that is. When you have when we talk about the Great Migration, we're typically talking about state-sanctioned violence, the police, you know, the slave master, you know, and folks who are sharecropping, you know, like, I'm tired of this shit, I'm out of here, right? So we leave it. What often gets lost in that history is that many families traveled north from the South because they were protecting their daughters, their Black daughters, from white men who had no honor, right? So that there was a need to leave. I mean, you can find letters. I know there was one I found in an archive where a Black woman tells her husband, hey, we're going to be on the next train smoking out of here to Chicago because we have a 12-year-old and a 13-year-old and the white boys are circling. So she already knew what was up. And she said, if you want to be with us, you're going to meet us at that train depot. Otherwise, you'll holler at me in my auntie house, right? So if we're talking about why some Black families left the South, it was for protection of their daughters. What you also have as an element of the history is that so many Black women got sent to school, whether it be middle school, or when high school became the thing, or when the 2-year business school became the thing, or secretarial school, or then when a 4-year, whatever education is, Black grandmamas, black mamas, black aunties have said what we want is our black children, our black female children, not to have to work in the houses of these white men and be assaulted. So the best way to get her not to have a job at his house ironing his drawers is to send her to school. That is the long game. The short-sighted game is, what do you do when you are going to school and you are learning all of these things and you want to talk, but when you come home, all your man want to do is slide up in between your thighs, and you're like, I would give you that if you would just talk to me first, black man. I'm gonna send these drawers around. Matter of fact, it's gonna be some drawers waiting on you at work tomorrow. If you would just talk to me, I know you want to squeeze this booty. That's why it's here. I want you to squeeze it too. But can we just ease me into that thing? Damn. Every day, hit, right? And then let's be clear, we're not saying we don't like the love you bring. We just saying, bro, you being greedy. Because if you really were gonna do something with this sexual energy, this sweet honey pot that I'm giving you, why it ain't more stuff? And I don't mean capitalist stuff, but why ain't there more peace in this house, right? Why isn't there more orderliness in this house? Isn't that what masculine energy is supposed to do? Is to come and bring some structure to the chaos that is the feminine? Bruh, you ain't doing nothing. So you greedy. You are taking all of this food I'm giving you and you are not using it. And then you mad. And now you want to go get my homegirl over here. So now we can't even go to church because now you got me embarrassed up here in these pews because you over here sleeping with that whole tramp. Right? I'm hyped right now.
Go ahead,
bring it down so that we can all get into this.
No, you better preach. All I'm gonna say is what she said was what she so eloquently, beautifully, passionately expressed the hearts and souls of myself and many women all across the diaspora. What I said earlier, emotional availability.
Because here's the truth. These women with these PhDs, we want nothing more than to pour out that sweetness and that honey, every bit we got in that alabaster pot on you. Yeah. Every bit of it. Yeah. Why? Why? Because if we're smart enough, we know we're going to fill that alabaster, that cup up again. And there'll be more to give you. Like,
let me let Dwelly get.
And I know, Brother Dwelly, I'm a hush. I'm going to close on this.
No. Speak on, sister, but I'm going to speak.
And I will say, I will honor, if we're going to talk about toxic masculinity, the challenge here is that when you get a black woman who is feeling herself and keeps feeling herself and keeps feeling herself and keeps feeling herself and has no way to ground, you are going to get men who are talked down to, who are made to feel like nothing. You're going to get women who are saying, well, I'm going to be just like you when we're not, right? You're going to get a lot of perversion in the ways in which we think because there is no balance. They're back to what the sister Kenda said when we came in, there's no balance. So brother, it don't matter if you didn't go to college. What are you studying? It don't matter if you didn't get a trade school, bruh. How are you supporting yourself? Like, let's not sleep like all black men are doing well and are thriving in those ways. And yet you want to come over here with this warm bed that smell good. But I mean, it's gonna do that. I'm a hush now. I'm out of here.
Hey, 100% to everything you said. And I listen to the brother Jason Wilson a lot. You know, he's the brother that wrote the book Cry Like a Man and Battle Cry. And you might see the brother, some clips of him on social media, the brother with the bald head, the great beard. And he was on Breakfast Club this week. And he speaks about men not being able to rest. You know, like we are the hunted. You know what I'm saying? Like when a man walk out the door, it's so many obstacles that you have to deal with just to get back home. And I always say, like training day, my mission every day is to get back home to my family, to not run into some crazy nigga in the street that's mad about whatever's going on in his life. You know what I'm saying? The police. You like the black man. We don't want to admit it. That's why we always have a lot of hostility or a lot of that. What my wife called that just hardness. You know, because we're constantly under threat. You know what I mean? And trying to get back to our family. So sometimes when a man come home, he don't have anything else to give. Sometimes it's not always. I mean, you know, a lot of times we don't know how to communicate our feelings. You know, the fear of expressing ourselves and being looked at as soft or a chump or less than a man, because you have the right to be in fear of a man with a gun. You know what I mean? You have the right to be in fear of a man with a weapon, the police, or just a brother that thinks that you are a meal for him. He don't look at you as his brother. He think that you have more than he do, and you do. Maybe you do. Some of us do, and some of us don't. And a lot of times, it's not about getting in between those warm legs. Sometimes it's about laying it down. You know what I'm saying? Like laying down my burdens. Let me put these bricks down. Sometimes I don't want to talk about the bills. I don't want to talk about my day. I want to talk about it, but give me some time to just let go. Like put my bags down. You know what I mean? I want to put those bricks down at times. You know what I'm saying? Like we all carry them. You know what I mean? And sometimes my wife say, I want the man that's at the barbershop. I want the you that's at the barbershop. The man is laughing and playing, and it's like sometimes that's a camouflage. You know, for a lot of men to hide the hurt that we're dealing with and losing our family members. You know what I'm saying? All kinds of pain, losing friends that we grew up with that have died from COVID or just getting killed in the streets. 40-year-old men having heart attacks. You know, like the constant stress that we have is never addressed. You know, and like I always focused on being a good father, because when we were growing up, all we heard was black men don't take care of their children. That was pumped constantly on TV. It was always constantly the black man, the black man, the black man don't do this, the black man don't do that, the black man don't do this. And then it came to a point where other black men started saying those things about us, you know, but we never addressed the issues of what causes black men to deal with this. Sisters haven't been taught how to be good mothers, to be good women, to be good lovers. And some men haven't been taught how to be a good man or a good father. You know, those things have to be taught. And me just understanding, going through a rites of passage. Again, I always speak on the rites of passage, that in every culture, in a lot of cultures, you just don't come up and be, I'm 21, I'm a man now. In Jewish culture, those boys are brought into manhood at age 12. And if you look at those numbers, age 12 and age 21, those numbers are in reverse. Those boys at 12 years old can make decisions at the age 12 that we can't make at the age 12. A lot of decisions we can't even make at the age 18 or even 20 or 21. So we are behind. And they always talk about how the young black males are failing in school, and the girls are ahead. The girls are advanced, and that's true. And I see it the way my daughter is versus the way I see a lot of young boys. The young boys are. It's a huge gap, because the black boy is being left behind. And now, you know, the structure of man, woman, and child is slowly being broken down, because first it was the black man. Break the black man. Okay, we're going to give the woman all these opportunities and put her ahead of the man. The black woman is the pillar and the stability and the backbone of the black community. Okay, if that's true, why is the black community still looking the way it looked? If we look at the children that are under attack now with all this homosexuality, Nas X is a grown man. Why is he doing shows for children? So it's a constant attack. And now the last level of this attack on us is the child, because our children are being sexualized on TV and cartoons constantly every day. So I just look at all this stuff as a systematic thing where it keeps us in confusion. The same way we always say the white man, the white man, the white man. Okay, what white man? Let's get him. Let's get the white man if that's the case. What white man is it? It's now a system, and we don't even need the white man anymore, because we can't listen to brother Kevin Samuels. We can't listen to this brother speak and have a honest dialogue without, you know. And I'm not just talking about on this panel. I'm talking about in the barbershops and wherever his name comes up at. We can't even have a peaceful conversation about it without somebody getting in their feelings and being upset about something he said. You know, some things, like I said, some things he have said are, I feel like are good, and some things I throw it away. I tell everybody all the time, I don't eat banana peels. I eat the banana, and I throw the peeling away. You know what I mean? So I take what's good and I leave the rest. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I want to be the best man I can be. And a lot of people have a perception that, oh, that Bully, this great guy. Yeah, I might be, but I have flaws. I have issues, and I struggle every day in my mind to try to repair myself, to heal myself. Either eating right, going to the gym, being a good father to my daughter, doing the homework, trying to be a good husband to my wife. You know, be a good man in the community. A brother told me, he said, "You just a community guy," and he said that as if he was insulting me. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, brother, you're right. But this brother he's college educated, went to a good school. He's a lawyer and all these things. And he told me, I guess you live in a black man's dream because you own a barbershop. That's the black man. I guess that's the black man's dream that you live in. And I'm just sitting there like, damn, bro, like, for real? You're gonna tear me down because I'm a barber? But he don't see what me becoming a barber has done beyond me taking care of myself and my family, and what it has done for our community and the work that we have done in the community. Me, Jabari, Sundiata, Kamal, and other brothers that have been around us. We've put our lives on the line. We've sat in jails for doing the right thing and trying to defend our community. So I think this whole thing is to keep us confused and to keep us fighting at each other so that we can dismiss the real issue that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, give the black woman all the good jobs. And black women have the job. They have the state job, the jobs working for the state, working for the city. The women are in power. But they're in power for themselves. They're not in power. And that's just my humble opinion. I don't feel like these women are empowered for the community. Everything that they do is for themselves and for their self-advancement. You know what I mean? It's women that don't mind having children, by a man and the father not being there. I had a sister ask me, would you mind having a baby with me? And you wouldn't have to do nothing. I wouldn't put your name out there. I wouldn't want you to do anything or be involved. I just want to have a baby. And a lot of women are comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men are downtown paying child support, where they have been taking care of their children, but the woman feel like she can't control him, or he's not doing what she wants him to do. So I tell you what, if I can't control you and I can't tell you what to do, I'm gonna take you downtown to the man and see what he can control you.
That's a whole nother show right there.
And I hate to say it, I don't want to feel like my sister is an ally to the system against me. So it kind of makes it sometimes it's hard for men to let go, or hard for a man to lay his feelings down and unravel all of the things that he's been wrapped up in from his childhood. You know, being a young boy running drugs in the streets.
I totally get that, and I give you respect for everything that you shared. It was heartfelt and sincere. You know, I know that the Black man is underneath a lot of stress. We as Black women love our sons and our husbands and our brothers, and the stress that you carry, we carry it right along with you. We carry it with you. And again, communication is the key. You know, and being vulnerable is a huge investment. You're right. It's a huge investment on both our parts. But that's the only way. That's the only way. We're going to have to start trusting our intuition better with the partners that we do choose, and start healing, because we that's the only way, or we're going to keep fighting like this.
So what we're going to do, you know, what's going to come from this, you know, of course, like I said, we on every week, but we're going to have like relationship, we're going to have some relationship counseling. We're gonna have different couples that's gonna come on. Brother Assad has been here with us. He's definitely highly qualified to come in and do some relationship workshops. Him and his wife, I think they've been together for like 26 years. Him and his wife, they were high school sweethearts. And also with him will come his father, the elder Assad, who's been with his wife, I think, over 50 years, and he married his high school sweetheart. So he walked in his dad's footsteps and being with the same woman, and that's beautiful energy right there. We'll have Sister Kenda and Brother Simbi come on board. We're gonna have Brother Emotep and Sister Ife on board. And many different couples that we'll have on board to come in as we do this, and then we'll ultimately be doing some events, some lectures and stuff, with some of these couples and different people that's going to come on board, because at the end of the day, it's about healing in our community, because we got to do something. Like, it's out of control. Everything, things are out of control right now. The black man and black woman are not getting along. We got these children that's coming up that's not benefiting from having a strong black man and black woman presence. And a lot of times when they beef and they fighting, it's just like, they beef and they fight. And we just got to do something. We got to push forward in our community and make this thing happen and make some healing happen. And we got to do it fast. And as Brother Malcolm say, no, we got to do it yesterday, because we can't sacrifice another child in our community that's coming up that don't have daddy energy in that home, or don't have mommy energy in that home. You know what I'm saying? So we got to stand. We know a lot of times, to be honest, a dad can't mess with mommy energy. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, when children are coming up, they are going to side with mommy's energy. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, you'll rarely find some children that's going to be like, oh, I'm going to be with that. You know what I mean? Every now and again you will, but it's hard to compete with raw mommy energy. That's because she's the nurturer. She's the, that healing energy comes through her. So they feel all of that because they come through her, you know what I'm saying? Like, and connect with her breast and all, you know what I'm saying? So they're connected with her. So they're any emotions, you know what I mean, attached to that. We all, mommy power is a hard thing to actually deal with. So we're going to be talking about, so we want to begin to wrap up. Again, all my family out there, the like button, comment, every comment that you do, every like button, every subscription that you do helps out. If you go to Reality Speaks membership, you go to our Patreon page. At the end of the day, as we do this work, and we've been doing it for 26 years, freedom ain't free. You know what I mean? I don't care what you say, but there's people in the past like, man, how y'all make money from doing lectures? Like, this is what we do for a living. People, professors and doctors, they teach college and they make money from giving lectures. They make money from being, you know what I'm saying? That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? When we do an event, we got to pay the videographer, you know what I mean? We got to pay a person to come in, you know what I mean? The space that we use, we got to pay for. We got to pay. I mean, there's the flyers that's made, we got to pay for. We got to pay for airtime, you know what I mean? To advertisement. So, that's what we do. And right now, all we asking y'all, click the like button, subscribe, share, and and donate to what we're doing in Baltimore. We about to create hundreds of jobs, and we about to cut thousands and groom thousands of free heads in our community. You know what I mean? Don't get no better than that. We got young barbers. We got young as 10 years old that we have so on board. We got female barbers. We got male barbers. So 13, 17, y'all can hit that Cash App. Y'all can hit that PayPal, $13.17. And I ain't heard my phone go off yet. You know what I'm saying? With the 13, 17. So I'm waiting to hear my first 102 13 17s while we've been getting closed off. So can we get some 13 17s while we're gonna actually begin to wrap up, and we'll your closing statements. We'll start with Brother Kamal. Let's get your closing comments, sir.
Well, I wanted to say, Dr. Lachey, that was a very good exposition you said, and I have so much to say about that. And you're my new favorite person. Sister Kenda, we'll always be having these conversations. You're married to one of my best friends. So, and brothers, thank you again. But for the larger audience, I would like to say that we are not each other's enemy. We have been under attack on all aspects for the past 400 plus years. We have not been unfucked with. So we've not been able to create our own folkways and mores to create a community and society that really benefits us. And it puts me back to my mission. which, we, after Ashaka Musa died, I had, and Jabari, you were part of this, New African Ministries, because I wanted to promote us as New Africans. We're not continental Africans, but we're equally as African. As Ross Marcus said, Jabari, in that very first video, when he first started talking 26 years ago, we are equally African, and we've got to create a culture that works for us. And it's going to take a lot of patience, a lot of love, a lot of consideration. But always remember, we are not each other's enemy.
All right, we got our first 1317 from Albert Phillips. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Come on, while we going around, let's get these 1317s rolling. All right. Appreciate that, brother Al. Closing statements from Sister Kenda.
Okay, there we go. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I love doing these types of talks. I used to host talks all the time in Baltimore. So thank you for including me in this wonderful, powerful panel. Everyone gave great value, lots of respect. It felt good to do that, to share with you all without arguing or fighting. That was warmed my heart. And I just wanted to leave with the idea that we need balance and emotional availability with each other. And I guess it begins with ourselves. So check in with yourself so you can check in better with your partners, because we need to heal. And the only way we can do it is by being vulnerable and emotionally available to each other. That's the only way. And thank you.
Closing remarks from the God Barber.
Yeah, I think the key word that we're going to repeat is balance, and we need balance in the community between men and women in order to bring a balance in the children, in our lives, and in the community. And it starts, I always talk about the word balance in reference to like babies. They start off trying to balance their heads, trying to keep their heads up and keep their balance, trying to walk and keep their balance. And I think that's what we seek our whole life, and how to balance ourselves and then balance our community and working in our community and being around our family and people and balancing our involvement, and I hope that that's what we get out of this whole thing, some balance. And understand, like the brother said, that we're not each other's enemy, man. My black woman, she's not my enemy. I don't want to fight you. I don't want to argue with you. I got enough on my plate. I got enough on my shoulders. And you're the last person I want to fight with, you know what I mean, and struggle with. We got to learn to walk away at sometimes, you know what I'm saying, and go in our neutral corners.
Right.
And come back and love each other hard and love each other strong, unconditionally. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
That's the truth. We got our second 1317, brother Kamal. Yeah. Let's go. Let's keep it going.
Aunt outdo me, and I'm on the show.
Appreciate you, good brother. Dr. Lachey.
I'm just honored and grateful to be able to share space with such amazing spirits who are clearly committed to healing and not just saying it because it's a cool buzzword. A couple of things that I'd like to say closing. One, reminders that healing can be a messy space. It's not always pretty, and it doesn't all, there can be blood in places and dirt and stuff. But that we give ourselves truly some grace in that process. We didn't get here overnight, so we surely aren't going to undo it, but I give thanks for the work that each and every one of us on this call has obviously done in our own lives. And to touch on the conversation about balance, I think I'm clear about balance. It doesn't always mean that the line has been held consistently. Balance is equal parts to me of chaos
and working.
And so how do we honor the moments that are chaos and know that there's beauty in that? And how do we pull ourselves back to structure? Which I think is ultimately what we're saying we want to do in our communities. It's like, hey, cut up. But then know how also to bring yourself back.
Yeah.
Now, we seem to be missing that medicine. about how to bring ourselves away from chaos and into structure, away from structure and into a little bit of fun and play and chaos. So it's my great hope that we, in our lifetimes, experience supreme joy, and that prosperity walks with us all the days of our lives. So thank you all for allowing me to be prosperous in this.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm gonna let Brother Sunyata close it out, but I'll say my closing statements right now. And I thank each and every one of y'all, for coming on here, building with us. I know the hour is late, but shoot, Kevin Samuels be coming on, man, be like 1 o'clock in the morning, and he be having like 20,000 people on that job. It'd be like 1 o'clock in the morning, so it ain't that late. You know what I'm saying? So y'all continue to build with us, continue to share, and man, we just love our people. You know what I'm saying? And Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we gotta love our people more than they hate themselves. He also said a nation can rise no higher than its woman. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So we got to build off a lot of those different things, and let's just continue to push forward. Let's continue to build, and and I'm gonna hand the mic over for my comrade, Brother Sunyata, to close us out for the night.
Okay, so real quick, man, I appreciate everybody's contributions.
Brother Sunyata, don't forget the guy who gave that wrote the $500 check. Did you get you weren't able to load that picture up?
I didn't load it up, but we can load it up prior, next week.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. But I appreciate everybody's contributions. The whole Bonded by the Blade is about healing in general. So a lot of people, me and Jabari and Dwelly, we had a big riff years back. We was all business partners and we started together. So we like to encourage people to come back and forge and bless your relationships with people that's beloved to you. Because we could have decided not to come back at all and work together. We could have stayed in our own little worlds and just kept doing what we was doing. But Bonded by the Blade represents us coming back together in unity, understanding our purpose together. And so we like to encourage everybody out there. You know what I mean? You may have a loved one or a friend from a long time ago who you're not as close with at this moment. So we encourage you to go back, man. And trust me, that y'all have done greater. Y'all have done greater than that one little petty thing that separates y'all from the dialogue and the love that has to be shared. And a lot of times we are guilty also of not knowing how to articulate our love for others as well. So no matter how strong we are, we also, I start myself first. I'm guilty of not knowing how to properly love maybe somebody in my family or a close friend at times. And so I got to grow on that level. But with that being said, this is episode number 3 for Bonded by the Blade. I would like to dedicate this show to my partner, MK Asante's mother. She was a brilliant dancer, choreographer. She did so many great things. Goddess Karimu. Well, she was married to MK Asante's father, Malik Kiti Asante, who's the the father of Pan-Africanism. You know what I mean? If you read his books, you know what I mean? They made a major contribution to Black studies, you know what I mean, here in America, and made us have a connection, you know what I mean, and made us have an intellectual connection as well. So his mother transitioned yesterday. I don't know if a lot of y'all know that we just did the video for ESPN. We all did the video for ESPN for the Ravens and Colts game. And he said that was his last time with his moms, sitting down with her watching the video premiere on ESPN Monday Night Football and watching the Ravens game. And I had a chance to meet her, and we talking about the goddess energy that Sister Kenda and Sister Lachey, y'all definitely reflections of the powerful work she has done. She worked with Debbie Allen. She's a major choreographer. I mean, she was a doctorate in dance. So she was powerful. You know what I mean? You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, I would like to shout out the goddess Karima Welch Asante and the whole Asante family at this time as they go through this dark hour. And we know that the light is coming. So we know the light is coming, you know. So we appreciate that. So Baba, come on.
No, I just wanted to say, can we mention the other workshop, Jabari?
Yeah. Mention that definitely. That's gonna be deep. We're gonna do that. Yep.
So within the next week to 10 days, we're gonna be putting together a grieving workshop, focused primarily on Black men, grieving loss. As Brother Ndwele put it very eloquently, the loss of dignity, perhaps, in jobs that we have, the loss of relationships, of loved ones, and learning coping skills in good ways for Black men to actually express themselves. So Reality Speaks family, please look for that in the next week to 10 days or so.
Yeah, that's gonna be strong because we need that. Brothers coming together and talking about, because we go through a lot, man. We get these divorces and stuff, man. I mean, it's a lot. I'm a divorced child. I come from a divorced family, my mother and father, and man, I had a hard problem. I had a hard time coming up with that. It's like a death, you know what I mean? And then I went on, was married, then I got divorced. All of that stuff, man, it's a lot of emotional strain, and when people pass away, we don't know, we trying to live regular life and then trying to live, and then it's a lot to express, man. So we want to have a show like that where brothers just come together and we really talk about that. I want to give it a shout out for Sister Anita Phillips for her $20 donation that she gave, tonight. We appreciate that. And man, I just love y'all, man, for coming on board. And like I said, this is just the beginning. Hopefully we got another 26 years. I see my man Dante Stokes in the building, you know what I mean?
Stokes.
Yeah. What's up, Stokes? Send that 13-17 over, son. Run that donation, boy. You know what I mean? Nah, son. So man, we love y'all. We gonna close out on that note. And man, see y'all again.
Peace.
Peace.